Hakadosh Boker Or, Masechet Gittin Daf 56A1. We're just going to start on Hamud Bet, where it's the 55B, where we were in the middle of the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. So there, the Gemara says, Kamsa Bar Kamsa Chaviru Yerushalayim, because of the story in Kamsa and Bar Kamsa, that's why Jerusalem was destroyed. Remember, we brought down the Marashah, that the Marashah actually says that Kamsa and Bar Kamsa was father and son, because Bar is son. So Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. So the Gemara says, there was a person he was friendly with Kamsa, and he was very in a fight with Bar Kamsa. Avad Suudata, he made a Suuda, he told the Shamash, Zilaiti li Kamsa, go bring me Kamsa. Azalaiti li Bar Kamsa, he went instead and he invited Bar Kamsa. Saat Ashkecha Daviati, he found he was sitting in the Suuda. Amaleh, he says, Michti. How Gavra Baldavav Doga? He said, well, you're my enemy. What are you doing here? My Baitacha, what are you doing here? Kumpu, get out of here. Amaleh, he comes and he says, listen, if I'm already here, Shefkan, leave me here. I'm gonna pay you my meal. I'm already here. I'll pay you my meal. Fine. Amaleh, we're now 56A1, 56, right? A on the top. Amaleh, he tells him no. Amaleh, he says, fine. I'm gonna give you half the Suuda. Give me the tab of half the Suuda, I'll pay for it. Amaleh, no. He says, no. Amaleh, he tells him, you know what, give me, I'm going to give you the entire Suuda. I'm going to pay your entire Suuda. Amaleh, no. Nakte biyadeh, he grabbed him in his hands. Ve'ukme, he picked him up. Ve'apken, he threw him out. Yeah? Amar, said Bar Kamsa, the rabbis were there. Why didn't they say anything? Rabbis were there at the Suuda. Why didn't they tell the guy, listen, don't embarrass him, don't do it, They kept quiet. Why didn't they? Shema mina kept what? It's good for them. Kanichalu. Ezil echul, right? Behu kurza. I'm going to come and I'm going to be malshin on them. I'm going to come and I'm going to say lashon hara about them. Beimalka, to the house of the king. Azal, he went, right? He went to Rome. V'amale lekesar, and he said to the Caesar, Mardubach Yudai, you should know that the Jews, they rebelled against you. Amaleh, he tells them, Mimar, who told you? Amaleh, he says, Shadalu Korban, go bring a Korban. Go bring a sacrifice. Chaziti mikarvale, and we're going to see if they're going to bring it or not. So Azar Shadav Yadeg Latita, so he went and he sent an Egel Mishurash, which is obviously like Bari, Tov, a very good animal. Bahadi Dekati, and the way that they were going, what happened is Shadeh Bemuma. He placed a mum, beniv sfatayim, on the lips. So the guy was very, very smart. He placed the mum on the lips. And some people say bedukin sheba'ayin. Bedukin sheba'ayin means, right? Bedukin sheba'ayin means, right? He comes and he says it's inside of the eye. Yeah, fine. Duchda del didan avumuma. Place for us, it's considered a mum. Uldiduma, for them, it's not considered a mum. So so the rabbi started saying, you know what? Let's bring the sacrifice. Why? Shalom malchut. Wow, we're going to start causing problems. Says well, people are going to start saying that you can bring a balmum to the mizbeach. So so they thought of killing Bar Kamsa. Why? If you kill Bar Kamsa, he's not going to be able to go back to say whether they brought it or not. So they thought of killing him. They're going to say that somebody that puts a mum in kochim, he's going to be killed. That's what you want, right? So Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, and vatznuto shel Rabbi Zechariah min avtkulas, the anava. Here it doesn't mean really anava, it means like the savlanut. Because usually a person that he's an anav, he's very humble, he's very savlan. He's got a lot of patience. Right, so he says the patience of Zechariah ben Akulas, that was the one that destroyed our house, and it burnt our Hechal, and it caused us to be exiled from our land. Why? Because basically what happened was now we had no other choice, and basically then they're going to say, the Jews are rebelling. So what happened was he sent Niron, right, the Kesar, okay. He was like one of the great people of Rome. Okay? Now he says over here, Kikate, when he came, Shada Gira lemizrach. He went and he shot an arrow towards, right, Yerushalayim, Klape Mizrach to the east. Nafal b'Yerushalayim, it fell into Yerushalayim. The Ma'arav, right, to the west, Ata nafal b'Yerushalayim. Again, it went to Yerushalayim. Right? In the four directions of the world, the Ata nafal b'Yerushalayim. He comes and he says, something's wrong here. If you're going to come and you're going to shoot an arrow, right? Usually the direction where you're shooting, that's where it's going to land. But here, no matter which direction he was shooting the arrow, it was always landing in Yerushalayim. So Elmaleh he went and he told a little child, tell me, what are you learning? Yeah, remember in the olden days, this was like the segula that they used to do many times. Right? They used to ask a child, what are you learning? And according to what you're learning, it's actually talking to me. So he comes and he says, Elmaleh, he tells him, V'natati nikmati be'edom biyad ami Yisrael, which means at the end of the day, I'm going to take vengeance against Edom. Right? Why? Through Yisrael. Because they went and they just, he went and he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the God, he wants to come and he wants to destroy his house. Right? How do I know? Because of what I just did at the beginning. So he wants to destroy his house. And he wants to wipe his hands on me. You understand? Meaning that if I just went and I just asked the child, and the child comes and tells me, right, what's going on? What's going on over here? Right? He's going to come and wash his hands on me. Arak, he ran away. The Oziel v'gayer, and he went and he converted. Right? V'nafak minei Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir, right? The famous Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir came from Niron Kesar. Okay? So Shadre al Ilavayhu Laspasianus Kesar. So fine. Neron disappeared, basically. So he sent Aspasianus. He came and he made a siege for 3 years. Okay? There were 3 Ashirim during the time. Nagdimon Ben Gurion. The name sounds familiar, no? Nagdimon Ben Gurion. Right? He was there. Ben Kalba Savua, Uben Sisit. Yeah, he says Uben Sisit a Keset. So Nagdimon Ben Gurion, Ben Kalba Savua, and Ben Sisit a Keset. So he comes and he says, right, that we're going to see right now. Nagdimon Ben Gurion, right, Nagdalo Chama. Right? Why was he called, right, Nagdimon Ben Gurion? Because the sun stopped for him. Right, as we already just learned from Masechet Ta'anit, right? Ben Kalba Savua, right? Ben Kalba Savua. He comes and he says, "Shekol nichnas lebeto kishur ra'ev kekelev." Anybody that used to go into his house when he was hungry, like a dog, would say kishur savea. He used to come out when he was satiated. So therefore, that's why he was called Ben Kalba Savua. Kalba is a kelev, right? And Savua savea. Ben Tzitzit. Ben Tzitzit a keset. He comes and he says, when Tzitzit keset, haytat tzitzito nigreret al gebek satot. His tzitziot were always hanging, right, upon, when he was going on the different things, he used to always be, his tzitziot were always being, how do you call this, hanging upon very beautiful different types of like pillows and things like that he used to come and walk on it. There are those that say, shayta kisto mutele ben gdolei Romi. That's not, he was actually, his name was that because he always was placed upon the hierarchy, right, of Rome. He was like up there always with all these, right, all these people. Okay? So one of these rich people, right, one second, right? One of these rich people said, Ana zayne lehu bechita v'sadeh. I'm going to give wheat and barley to all of Yerushalayim. So don't worry about it. I'm going to give it for everybody. One of them said, I'm going to give wine, salt, and oil. One of them said, I'm going to give the wood. The rabbis came and said, wow, the one of the wood is the best one. Right? Why? Because basically, right, you need a much greater amount of wood than food and drink. Yeah. Right? The Rav Chasta, just like the Sipur of Rav Chasta. Right? Rav Chasta said, Kol akli de hava masa l'shameh. All the maftechot of his storage houses he used to give to Shamashim, bar mi de tzive, except for tzive. Tzive is the wood. Right? The Amar of Chasta says of Chasta, achleva dechite ba'eshiti nachleva de tzive. In order to bake a bread of wheat, right, you need 60, right, storage houses, right, of the etzim, which means that since the etzim, the wood was so, remember, you're not, you need a lot of firewood in order to come to make the fire. So therefore, they went and they praised the firewood much more than all the other rest of the foods and everything. They were 3 years in siege. They had enough for, right? It says over here, these 3 ashirin had enough of the wheat and the barley and the wine and the oil and the salt and the woods. They had enough for 21 years. You know what amount that means? 21 years. Imagine right now you come and you say that they have supply for 21 years. That means that even if nobody's going to bring any more supply, 21 years of supply. That's a lot of supplies. Yeah? What happened? Havu behu anau bidyone. They were bidyonim. Right? As in every kila, as in every country, as in every, there's always bidyonim. What are the bidyonim? These are bandits. These are people that they're troublemakers, as they say. Yeah, the balaganists. So what happened? Amru lehu Rabbana, says the Rabbanan, they come and they say, Nefuk v'navid shelama ba'adayim. Go, let's make peace with the people. Yeah, so imagine, there were bidyonim that they said to the rabbi, right? The rabbi said, right, why don't we come and make peace between them? Lo shavkinu, right? He comes and he says they didn't let them. Amru lehu, so the bidyonim went and they said, remember, the rabbis are always the ones that want to make peace. The balaganis are always want to make a balagan, right? So what do they want to do? Go to war, right? That's their motto. Let's go to war. We're not weak. Show your strength. So Amru lehu Rabbanan, the rabbis told them, Lo minta. You're not going to have success. Kamu klanhu lehanu amabre dechite v'sare v'hava kafna. What did these bidyonim do? Not only did they already cut, they made a balagan. The rabbi said, we're not going to have success. You know what they did? They came and they burned down all the storage houses. Now, by burning down all the storage houses, what happens? There's a famine now. Because now there's nothing left. They just burnt everything down. But this is bidyonim. The truth is, if they would have known who were these bidyonim, it would have been a mitzvah to kill them. Remember, rodfim, these are rodef. That's what we spoke about the other day. A rodef is somebody that he's coming after your life. Now, they're not coming after your life, but the fact that they were causing that now, so they were considered rodef. If they would have found out, they had to kill them.
They wanted to go to war to the
100%. Marta but baitus, yeah, but not because that you're going to destroy all your supplies.
No,
shooting yourself in the foot. Huh? Okay. Marta bat baitus, atirata dirushalem havia. Marta bat baitus, she was one of the ashira, one of the most richest women in Yerushalayim. So she sent a shliach and she told them, Zilaiti lismida, go bring me fine flour. Adazilis davin, when he came back, he was already sold. Atamala, so he came and he told her, there's no fine flour, there's only white flour. Right? So Yamralis, Zilaiti, bring me. Adazilis, it was sold out. Atamala, so he comes and he tells her, there's no white. There's gush kiraika, but there's there's pat kibar, which is like a thicker flour. Amrale said, go bring it to me. Again, it was sold out. Atamala, come and tell the gush kiraika, but there's only barley flour. Amrale, he let you bring it to me. And again, it was sold out. Have a shlif nam nisana. So she was taking off her shoe. Amra, she says, you know what? Yeah? She comes and she says, I'm going to go and I'm going to see what's out there. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, she's taking out her shoes. She doesn't understand what's going on. Right? What happens? Amra, she says, I'm going to go out, I'm going to see. All of a sudden, there was galile be'ema, there was the excrement of an animal that got stuck to her feet. She was so disgusted. Remember, we're talking about one of the richest people. So the rich people, they're very meticulous. They're not, you understand that? She was meta. She went and she died. Kari ale, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said, Haraka becha v'anuga, which means a woman, that she's so soft and she's so that she never had her feet on the ground. She never, so she died because basically what happened was she got disgusted of what was going on. Ika de Amri, there's those people say that it wasn't actually the excrement of the animals, but rather it was the grogerot of Rabbi Tzadok Achla, that she ate the grogeret of Rabbi Tzadok, which was basically tenam yubeshet, the nisa, and she became disgusted, and she died. What was this grogerot of Rabbi Tzadok? Rabbi Tzadok yativ 40 shanim b'ta'anit. Do you know that Rabbi Tzadok was sitting 40 years in ta'anit? Right? 40 years he was doing ta'anit. Telal lecharav Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim is not going to be destroyed. He already knew that everyone knew that Surfside was going to be destroyed. So when he used to eat something, you could see it. Meaning you would be able to see the food going because he was so skinny, right? So thin. You were able to right now when they wanted to come and they wanted to cure him, because we're going to see later on that they wanted to cure him, they had to bring him krogirot, which were basically figs, dried figs, who used to suck the liquids, and then he used to throw it out. So basically they say that maybe this is one of these grogerots that basically after he took in all the liquid, right? This was the peel. This is like the empty part that they went and they ate, and this is what happened. That she, because of this istanitz, she came and she died. When she came and she was going to pass away, she took out all the money, the kesef zahav, and she threw it in the marketplace. She says, what does it help money? And that's what it means in the pasuk. That their money, they're going to be throwing out their money in the chutzot, in the outskirts, just in the shuk. They're going to be throwing money. Think about it. What does it help money if you can't do anything with money? Right nowadays, money is everything. But if it's going to be a time where money doesn't help, right, because of it's going to be the poverty and the way that it is that there's drought, there's nothing there. So what does it help? Abba Sikra, Reish Bidyon in Yerushalayim. Abba Sikra was the head of the Bironim in Yerushalayim, right? So he says, Bar Achte, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Really, he was the nephew of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Shalach Leis, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai told Abba Sikra, Ta betzina legabai, come to me. Sa'ata he came. Amar le, he says, Ad ima tavditu achi, until when are you guys going to do this? Right? Vekatlutu le'alma, you're going to kill everybody. Until when are you guys doing this? Meaning he went and he was trying to knock sense into the head. Because if you take the head, you can knock sense into them, yeah? So he took the head and he says, what are you doing? Okay. He comes and he says, what am I going to do? If I'm going to say something to the Biryonim, they're going to kill me. Meaning the own head of the Biryonim was afraid that they would kill him if he's going to do something more. So Elmaleh, he went and he said, right, you know what? Find an etzah that I should go out of the city. But maybe there's going to be a little bit of atzala. Elmaleh, he says, nekot nafshach b'kitzereh. You know what you do? Play sick. Play sick. And everyone's going to come and start visiting you. And then bring something disgusting like a nevela, so that way it starts smelling. And then start saying that he passed away. Bring in your talmidim to carry you. Don't bring anybody else to carry you. To not make sure that you're so light. Because everybody knows, right? That chay noseh tatzmo. What does it mean chay noseh tatzmo? Everybody knows that a person that's alive weighs lighter than a person that's dead. Sometimes a person passes away and all of a sudden, mamash, it's like a brick. You say, 1 second, 5 minutes ago you could have picked him up and it wasn't that bad. All of a sudden they pass away, mamash. So they actually say that the neshama is what actually carries, right, the person around. So he comes and he says, Avidachi did exactly that. So he played sick, right? Everyone started coming to visit him. Then they went and they put a nevela there. It started smelling, which that's a stench of a human being when they pass away. Then kilu, only the talmidim were the ones carrying him, right? Okay. Avidachi. So they did that. Nichnas bo Rabbi Eliezer mitzad echad, Rabbi Yoshua mitzad eched. So Rabbi Eliezer and Yoshua, they were the only ones that were carrying him. Kimatu lepitcha. So when they came to the petach, ba'u lemitkeren. Now remember, in the olden days, even in today's, in certain places like this, the cemetery is always on the outside of the city. You're never going to make a cemetery inside the city. It doesn't make sense. Inside the city, you want places to move around. You want places, not what's it called, a cemetery. So what happened is that they were going to leave the city, right? And what happened is that they wanted to dokeroto. They wanted to mamash to. Why? They wanted to test. Maybe Be'emet he's not dead. So they wanted to poke him dead. They wanted to poke him. If they poke him and they stab him, is he going to jump? Yeah. Or Be'emet, is he a dead guy? So Amar Lehu, Abba Sikra went and he told them, the Romaim are going to say, Rabban Dakru, that they stabbed to death their own leader. And he said, how are you going to poke him? So they wanted to push him at least. Amar lehu, he says, Yomru Rabban Nachud, they're going to say that they pushed their leader. I mean, like even with that, Patku lebava. So they went and they opened up the doors. Nafaki came out. Kimata lahatam, when Yochanan ben Zakkai came to the Roman army, Amar, he went and he told to Aspasianus, Shlama lach malka, Shlama lach malka. Shalom alecha melech, Shalom alecha melech. Amar, he says, Aspasianus, Mechayiv tetre ketala, you're chayav death twice. Chada, number one, de la malkana, I'm not a king and you call me king. Two, and furthermore, imalkana, if I was a king, why didn't you come until now? Elmaleh, he told him, the kamarta lamalkana, the fact that you told me that I'm not a king, right? 56b. Ibra malkat. He says, Be'emet, you are a king. Tilav malkat is if you weren't a king, lamim sera Yerushalayim bidach. Yerushalayim would never be able to be given in your hands. Meaning, Yerushalayim could only be given in the hands of a king. It's impossible that you're not a king. You have to be king. Yeah? So, dichtiv va'levanon be'adid yipol, that the Lebanon will come and fall in the hands of the Dir. Ve'en adir el melech. Who's an adir? A king. Ve'aya adiro mimenu. So he says, Ve'en Lebanon, el Bet HaMikdash. Lebanon is the Bet HaMikdash. Ne'emar, ha'har ha'tov hazeh, ve'alevanon. Har ha'tov is Har HaBayit, ve'alevanon is Bet HaMikdash. Udkamarta, so now that you said, Imalkana, if I'm the king, why didn't you come? Bidyoneh dit v'lo shavkina. The bidyonim that we had in the city didn't let me go out. Elmaleh, he says, Ilu chavit shel dvash udrakon karuch alea, lo yu shovrin et hachavit b'shvil drakon. So I don't understand. If you right now have a chavit, but you have this nachash, which is misukan, right, that's going around it, you wouldn't break the chavit because of it, which means you would break the chavit, get rid of the nachash. So you should have destroyed the walls of the city in order to get rid of the bidyonim. Ishtik. He kept quiet. Kariya lev Rav Yosef went and he said, Rabbi Akiva says, sometimes the Kodesh Baruch Hu will come and he'll make that the Chachamim will think backwards. And therefore, that they'll become foolish. That he takes away their tzad, they're not able to answer all of a sudden. Meaning these are people that they have ruach, they have everything. But all of a sudden, Kodesh Baruch Hu just made that they're speechless. And therefore, he didn't have what to answer. Why? Because he should have told them, we should have taken a tzvat, which is like the pliers or the whatever you call them, the tongs, right? And then they would have taken the snake and we would have killed it. Yeah, and we want to leave the chavit in whole, meaning we don't want to destroy the barrel. We want to take tongs, get rid of the snake, and then you keep the barrel. That's what we should have done, which means that they were waiting for these damnut in order to go out, right, without destroying the walls of the city. That's what Rabbi Yochanan should have answered. So at the Hachi, while he's speaking to him, Ati Pristeka Ale, there came a Shaliach to Aspasianus from Rome. Vamalin, he says, Kum, get up, Temit le Kesar, right, because the Caesar died. The Amru Ana Chashiv Rome, and the most important people of Rome said, you're the one, you're the new Caesar. So he was putting on one of his shoes, right? He says over here when he was like tying the shoes, he wanted to put on the other one, he wasn't able to go on his feet. He wanted to take off the other one. She didn't understand what went on. The shoe that he had on, he wasn't able to take off. And the shoe that he didn't have on, he wasn't able to put it on. What's going on? My head, he goes, what's going on? Elmaleh, he told him, don't worry about it. There was a good news that came to your ears. When you hear good news, your bones, they what's the word in English? They're not extract. The
swelling.
The swelling. They fatten. Okay, but there's a better word for it. But okay, they make it fatter. They make it bigger, right? So he says, so he asks, so what do you do? He says, bring somebody that you don't like in front of you. That he should pass in front of you. And then what happens is you're going to go back to normal. He was able to put it on. Elmaleh, he says, you're such a chacham. Adaina, why didn't you come? Elmaleh, he told him, I told you the answer already. Elmaleh, he says, I also told give you the answer. Elmaleh, he comes and he says, I'm going to go back to Rome because I'm becoming king. And I'm going to send somebody else. But ask for me what you want, and I'm going to give it to you. Ask me. Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. Elmaleh, he says, tell me Yavne v'chachamea, give me Yavne and the Chachamim, v'shushilta de Rabbi Gamliel, the family of Rabbi Gamliel and Nasi, in order that we should always have the Malchut David, v'asvata de Masyan le Rabbi Tzadok, and a rofeh that will cure Rabbi Tzadok. Karelia Rav Yosef, again, Rav Yosef, or some Yosef, Rav Kiva was saying, Meshiv Chachamim Achor. Why? He should have just said, let us off one more time. He should have said, give us another chance. But what happened? He held. He wouldn't have done it. And then he would, meaning like if he would have just said, just let us off another time, they wouldn't have, and then he would have killed them. And then that's it. So then even that Salapurta wouldn't have been. So therefore he felt like, tafasa merubelo tafasta. So therefore he felt, this is what I have to ask for. Asvata demasa little bit. What was the rofeh of Rabbi Tzadok? Yoma kama ashkiyah ma'ere de pare. The first day they gave him water which had subin in it. Right? That means basically they had bran inside water. The second day, ma'ede sipuka. Right? There was a little bit bigger pieces. The machar ma'ede kimcha, a little bit bigger pieces which had already kemach. Ad deravach me'e purta purta. Basically, that because remember, if somebody didn't eat for so many years, and by the way, this happened in the Holocaust, right? People they didn't eat right, and all of a sudden what happened? They went and they found food for the first time. They started eating. You don't know how many people just died right, left, and center because they just eat and eat it, and their stomachs weren't used to it. So therefore, what he had to do was little by little, every single day they were adding on in order to make sure that the stomach was going to be, accustomed to it. So then, who did he send? He sent Titus. Azal Shadre the Titus. He went and he sent Titus. Yeah, and what happened? Amar, he went and he said, Elohem otzur chasayubo. Who is this pasuk referring to? Right? He comes and he says, Titus Arasha, shechidef egidef klape mala. That he went and he cursed against the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Masa, what did he do? Tafas zona biado. He took a zona. Nichlas bekodesh shishim. He went in the kodesh kodeshim. He put the Sefer Torah on the floor and he did the Avirah on the Sefer Torah. And he took, right, a saif, a sword, he tore the parochet, and there was a miracle that happened. Right? It said there was blood coming out of the parochet. Meaning there was no, right, at the beginning, he thought that he killed himself. Right? Right? He came and he said, he thought that he actually killed himself. Right? He thought that he cut himself. Because all of a sudden, where's the blood coming from? Right? He didn't understand. Right here, it doesn't really mean himself. He thought it was Hashem. That was when he went. Right? So he says, that they went and they made different signs like Kilu Zemet. That means Titus and his friends, they made different signs, which was the coming out of the blood was Kilu is a sign that what? That he killed again himself as a euphemism for obviously HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Rabbi Chanan comes and he says, Mi chamocha chasim. Right? Who is like you? Chasim. What does that mean? Mi chamocha, who's like you? Chasim v'kashe. Right? That you're mitapek. Right? Mamash, you withhold yourself. Shata shomya that you listen to the curses, to the blasphemy of the Rasha, the Shotek, and you keep quiet. Tevere Bishmael, Tanan Bishmael, the Academy of Bishmael, they taught, Mi chamocha ba'elim Hashem, Mi chamocha nedar, he says, Mi chamocha ba'elim Hashem, Mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Mi chamocha ba'ilemim. Not ba'elim. Ba'elim means in the gods. Ba'ilemim means like the ilem, you're mute, which means there was such a chilul Hashem with Titus, and you kept quiet. Me'asa, what did he do? Natalet ma'al parochet, he took the parochet, Fasao kemin, right, gargutzni, he made it like a mesanenet. Right? He made it like a mesanenet. And then what did he do? He says over here like a big basket. He put all the utensils of the Bet HaMikdash and he was taking it to the city. Shneimar, but it says in the pasuk. Why? Because he wanted to show off. So it says in the pasuk, "Uchen raiti reshaim kevurim, vavou mimekom kadosh yalechu, yishtachu ba'ir asher ken asu al tikre kevurim, ela kivutzim, al tikre v'yishtachu ela v'yishtabchu." He wanted to come and he wanted to praise himself, right? And he wanted to come and to gather everything and then come and to praise himself, because he went and he destroyed the Beit HaMikdash. Ika da'amni, some people say, kevurim mamash, which means they were mamash kevurim. That even things which were like hidden, igalia lehom, it was revealed, and they took everything. Mamash, they took everything. So he comes and he says, Amad alav nachshol shabayam letovo. So on the way back to Rome, there was a big torment, a big storm that was going to sink his ship. Amar kim domeh ani shelohem shel Elohim gvurato lebamayim. When he says, this God, he only has strength in water. Says why? Ba paro comes paro tibo bamayim. He drowned him in the water. Ba sisera, I came sisera tibo bamayim. Right? He drowned him in the water. Afu omedala. Same thing. He's only going to drown me in the water. Im giboru, if he's such a big, strong guy, ya'alel yabasha v'yasei milchama. Come to milchama with me on my land, on the dry land. Yatsa bat kol v'amra lo Rasha ben Rasha ben beno shel Esav Rasha. He says Rasha, the son of Rasha, the great grandson of Esav Rasha. Birya kala yesh be'olami. Do you know that I have a very small creature in my world? Yitush shema, right? The Yitush is the name. Why is it called Birya kala? Right? He says the ma'alana itla, right? Because he says it's got a mouth, umapkana letla, but it doesn't have anywhere. Meaning the food comes in, but it doesn't come out. Solid doesn't come out of the fly, right? So go do milchama with a fly. Go start. The smallest little creature that I have is going to do war with you. You want war on dry land? I'll give it to you. Came into his nose, and he was knocking away his brain for 7 years. One day he went by like one of these like tanner places, whatever it is. They came and Shama Kala Zafta, that they were coming, they were banging away. Ishtik, it stopped. So what happened? Aman, he says, Baruch Hashem, this thing is knocking away in my head, in the brain. Right now I've got a cure, I've got a remedy. So what did he do? He brought a napcha and he started banging away. Right? He comes and he says, Umachu kameh. Lenochli, right? He comes and he says, so to this goy he came, to this napach, he came and he used to give him 4 zoos every single day. But to a Jew, Amarle used to tell him, right? It's already enough that you see that your enemy is suffering, so I'm not going to pay you at all. Meaning to the napach, to the blacksmith that he was a goy, he used to pay him 4 zoos every day. But to the blacksmith that was a Jew, he told him it was enough that you're already seeing your enemy suffer. So I'm not even going to pay you. Yeah? Fine. But he did that for 30 days. After 30 days, the Yitush was accustomed to it. You get accustomed to something after 30 days. So what happened? So it stopped. So it continued, all of a sudden it started coming and continuing banging away again. Tanya, we learned in a Braita. Rabbi Pinchas ben Aruva says Rabbi Pinchas ben Aruva, I was between Gdolei Romi, Shemet, and when he died, Patzu et mocho, they opened up his head. They found the Yitush was as big as a bird. Mishkal shne slaim. It was like a 1-year-old bird. Mishkal shne litin. A mishkal of 2 liters. It says here 320 grams, 220 grams, whatever it was. But that's a big bird. You understand? I mean, that's from a little fly becoming such a big bird. Right? Rabbi says, Naktinan, piv shel nechoshet. Right, the mouth of the fly was like iron. The tzipurnav of copper, right? And tzipurnav and his nails were like of barzel, were like of iron, right? He have a kamait when he was going to die. Amar lehu, he went and he told the people, liklu lehu gavra, burn the person. Meaning he wanted to be what's the word? Cremated, cremation. And spread the ashes on the 7 waters, the 7 rivers. In order that he won't find me and he won't put me into judgment. Meaning, burn him and he's going to... Do you know that Unklus actually was the nephew, right? The nephew, meaning he came from the sister, right? Ben Achoto of Titus. So imagine, from Niron Kesar came Rabbi Meir, and from Titus, that he destroyed Bet HaMikdash, came Unklus again, right? Unkelos. Yeah. So have a baile gura, he wanted to be mitgayer. Azal Askeletitus Benegidas, he brought him up. He brought him up with the ov. You know what an ov is, yeah? When they bring them up, the neshama again, whatever, the body, the thing again. Samarle, he asked him, Man who's important in Olam Haba? Amarle, he told him Israel. Should I actually cling to them? Amarle, he says, he says, no, there's so many mitzvot, you won't be able to do it. Zil igre behu behu alma. If you're going to come and go against them in this world, you're going to be the head. The heads, the enemies, they become the heads. Anybody that goes against Israel, he becomes a manhi. Amarle, he told them, what is the judgment of that person, meaning of Titus? Amarle, he told him, that which he paskin on himself, kol yoma, every single day, they come and they gather together all the ashes, right? And they judge him. And then again they come and they burn him. And then again they spread it out in the seven, right? In the seven rivers, the seven seas of the entire world.